I'm just thinking about how spooky it's getting in the world. Because it's Halloween time. You know, it's Halloween, man. Halloween. Man, I used to love, do you remember Halloween? Remember how much fun, dude, remember how much fun you had? Remember how much fun you had? Halloween. What are you going to be? What are you going to be? For like a couple of weeks when you were in like elementary school, middle school, what are you going to be? What are you going to be? I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to be a coal miner. You know, I'm going to be a firefighter. That was always a big one. I'm going to be a firefighter. You know, and it was just like, and the costumes used to be way more normal. Way like, oh, Daniel is a bat. Oh, that's good job, Daniel. You know, Lawrence is, he's a coal miner in a wheelchair. Oh, good job, Lawrence. Selena is pregnant. Oh, that's interesting, but way to go, Selena. You know, you see that little girl, she come to the door, she just, that's her idea of creativity. She's 7 years old. She got a pillow in her, you know, and lipstick on. You're like, okay, she's, you know, maybe seeing a little too much at the house, you know. But that was Halloween. Dude, and then I remember you would get the candy, and I always liked them Snickers, them baby Snickers. You know, out here in Los Angeles, they give all, you know, the costumes are, you know, out here it's not even, you know, it's like, Jackson is a hashtag. Lorenzo, well, he refuses to dress up this year because he believes that Halloween is, you know, it's not fair to ghosts. Like actual ghosts aren't getting the credit they deserve. Yeah, well, fuck that, bruh. Halloween is a great opportunity to get an empty bag or anything empty. Dude, I remember one time running around our neighborhood with a plant pot. Because it just seemed like the biggest thing around. Fill it up. I didn't care what you put in it. Dude, I remember one guy just poured half of a beer out into mine. I'm like, yeah. Dude, I loved getting them little Snickers. And I love putting on my costume. Dude, look, I found these sounds. Remember, listen to these Halloween mask sounds, okay? These were sounds that your mask made maybe when you put the mask on. All right, here we go. Remember that? Okay, now what about this one? Listen to this one. Ooh. Oh, that. Now, if you had some money, that second one, you had a little bit of money because they had that hard, that plastic. You had it was like getting back in your mother's womb. Just once you go, whatever that, and that thing was always like a wolf or like a, you know, a donkey head, or a, you know, it could be anything. It would be, but it was something like severe, like a big lizard head. If you got into that thing, you weren't. That was it for the night. I didn't like those things because I always felt trapped. You know, I remember one time being in a costume and I couldn't get that thing off, man. And I could see out of the eyes and I could see the world like so clearly, but no one could hear me because the plastic was too thick. So I quit talking to people, and it was sweaty and it was scary because I couldn't, like, my peripheral vision was gone. So I couldn't see around me that good. And I could just see, and it was just like I was watching the world happen a little bit more. And I thought for a second, man, honestly, I thought that I was like, I wonder if this is what it feels like to have like autism or Down syndrome. You know, like you're in there and you can see, like it all seems really, really clear, but you're like sweating and you can't, and people can't hear you, or you can't like communicate as well because, you know, you got on these, you know, you got so much extra on you, you know? Remember that, getting into that one? This is another one. This is one more sound. Here we go. That's kind of similar one. But yeah, Halloween. Man, Halloween. And you would run, bro. You would have that candy. Dude, I remember this. I wanted candy so bad. I remember grabbing like my wiener and just squeezing it. That's how bad I wanted candy. And I wanted that Snicker, man. Every time I wanted that Snicker, that's exactly, give me that. Or did they have the Snicker? No. Somebody had a sucker. What is that? Bitch, I'll get that at the bank. I'll get that at a dang, at a bank. I'll get that at a Whitney Bank. That's what they used to have in Louisiana, that Whitney Bank. It's crazy, man. It was so much fun. Dude, and I remember my mom had that station wagon. And the station wagon, dude, you could hide in the old school. Now they got these little Subaru Legacy. You know, we had the station wagon. This thing was that World War II hitter. You know what I'm saying? If you got far enough into the back, you could hear soldiers fighting. That shit, the fifth row, you know, they had the back seat, then they had this big extra long area. That was straight up Dunkirk back there. People were losing their lives back there. And my mom, they had the station wagon had it had a thing, it dropped down, you know, because this is when I was probably, let me think, 5, okay, or 6, and they had the station wagon had a back thing. It was like a tailgate. It was a tailgate, and it would just drop down. It was heavy, bro. If it came down, you didn't put it back up till maybe springtime or until a different time of year. You know, that thing was heavy. And we would all get on there and hang. We would all get up. We'd stand on there and be all dressed up in our costumes. You know, everybody would be keyed up. And just, you know, somebody would just be like, I'm like a bloody ghost, and they would just, you know, have blood all over them and maybe have a bed sheet kind of tied around them. They actually just looked like a Greek person that had been, you know, in a domestic dispute. You know, you'd have some horrible fucking costumes. You know, now it's a little bit more like the parents dress the kids, I feel like. When I was young, dude, you know, I remember you put a little bit of dirt on you. Like, I'm a piece of sod. You know, you put a little bit of, you know, maybe some grass in your hair. But it was fun, man, and we'd all get on the back of that. We'd get on the back of Mom's station wagon, and she'd let us stand on the tailgate. She'd let us stand on the tailgate because I lived in America in the 90s, and you could stand on the tailgate, and you could hold on to the top of the station wagon, and Mom would drive around the rich people's neighborhood. And I'd be on the back of that, man, just waiting. And you'd see a house where it looked like they had somebody sitting out front, like a senior citizen or something, in a rocking chair, and they were all dressed up, and they, you know, they had like maybe some decorations. You'd be like, oh, these motherfuckers got that Snicker. These the people that got the Snicker. Because when I was young, that's all you wanted, man. Some people during Halloween, they were giving out they used to have these candies. They were like, it was kind of like somebody had tried, they were orange and black. It was just wrapped up, and it was barely wrapped up. Some of the candy was kind of leaking out the back end, you know? Some of the candy had a little bit of side boob, kind of, you know, a little brown kind of side boob popping out of the wrapping. You know, these little candies, they came in little wrappers, little blankets, little duffel bags for candies, you know, wrappers. And they would give you these, and it was chewy, it was chunk. You didn't even, it was the unknown candy. It was like the tomb of the unknown diabetes. It was just a chunk of, you were like, oh, is this chocolate? Is it caramel? Is it apple? And you would just eat it, and by the time you even kind of maybe had an idea what it was gone, and you had no idea what it was. And it was actually absolutely just nothing, just garbage straight up. Just that, it could have been a polio vaccine. I have no clue what it was. I mean, it could have been, I just remember it got your sugar up and got you amped up to go another couple blocks. You know, and I remember a couple of them, if you had 2 or 3 of the orange ones in a row, you couldn't turn your neck for a little bit. That shit would get my neck all tight, make my veins really start, you know, make my veins kind of dance together and kind of get to know each other a little bit. Maybe even doing, you know, make it feel like your neck didn't want, your neck would get tight. If I had too many of them little, because they were just unknown candies. They didn't have a name to them. They were cheap and it was just enough to get you to that next house and see if they had a little thing of Smarties, bruh. Rich people always had Smarties or, you know it, little Snickers. Dog, on Halloween, bruh, dude, I would train all month in October at the house, stretching, you know, getting beat up by my brother, you know, pissing my mom off, let her hit me with that leather because I was going to be ready for October 31st. When little daddy, hit the nighttime for those about to rock. We salute you. Hit the nighttime, going looking for that Snicker. And they call me and they see me. They see me and they know I'm hunting that Snicker. And I'd be out there and we'd be on the back of mom's. And I've told this story. I probably told it last Halloween. I'd be on the back. We'd all be lined up on the back of us. One of us, you know, somebody's just easy costumes. Somebody's a turtle, you know. Little Ronald's a turtle, you know. Little Thaniel, he's a goat. And he got real goat hair. His dad put real honey and goat hair on his back to make him look authentic. And he's a real little goat boy. And they put little fake horns on his head, you know, and they squeezed him maybe into they might have squeezed him into a mask. I don't even know. They might have squeezed him in one of those tight hitters. Ooh, and little Thaniel's all keyed up. And maybe his daddy had a little bit extra time off of work in October and he put real wood on the bottom of his shoes. And he nailed it into the bottom of his shoes or super glued it onto the bottom and painted it black. So now little Thaniel got real hoofs. And he, you know, maybe he's out there and he have on, you know, children's underwears or, you know, or even sometimes in Halloween you put on a baby diaper. You put a diaper on your body, you know, in case you wanted to piss or something because you wouldn't, you know, we went hard at Halloween. There wasn't, and we were on enemy territory. We're out there trick-or-treating by the rich. Dude, you trick-or-treat in my neighborhood, dude, you get a rash for sure. Bed bugs, you get probably, I mean, they have a lot of registered sex offenders by us. So, you know, none of these freelance boys, I'm talking people in the union, you know, them real hitters. So you wouldn't really, you know, a lot of people by us didn't even have calendars. You stop by dressed up, you know, they might think you a real animal. If you come by, little Thaniel rolls up as a goat, bro, they might fucking grill that boy up. You know, we having some rack of Thaniel back here next weekend. We having a barbecue. But yeah, man, we would go and Thaniel he'd have maybe real goat hair on him. You know, his dad would put honey on the back of his legs and honey on his back. And then they had real goats. So they'd get real hair off these goats. Because that's free. If you have goats, that hair is yours if they're cool with it. And you put it on, and then you're like, damn, that boy looks fucking, he's a real swaggy piece out here. And we'd all be on the back of and we'd have those diapers on because we weren't going back home. You know what I'm saying? If the diaper was because if you wanted to urinate or you know, or make duty, and you could do it right there and still trick or treat. Because this was our Vietnam, bro. October 31st, it was us against the world. It was us against these candy makers and these people that had front doors and these people that had jack-o'-lanterns. And it was us, and we was going to get ours. We was going to get them baby Snicker. And man, it was epic. And we'd all be on the back of on the back of mom's car with the tailgate down, and she's rolling, bro. She's cruising because she's pissed because my mother was always pissed. Think about a time when my mother has been alive. She was pissed then, I promise you. And we're on the back, and Mom would roll up by the yard, and we would run and jump off that tailgate into the yard as that car was going, just whoo, whoo, like right out the back of a C-130, man. Shout out to all of our servicemen and women, just whoo, whoo, just right out in the yard and tumble roll into the yard. Lose half your fucking candy in the roll. Whatever. Onward. Onward. Hold the line. Forward. And we'd roll out onto the ground. You know, your brother, and then your sister would come off at the last minute. She only 2 years old. And that mom car still rolling, just coming to a stop. And my sister just fall off that bitch. She couldn't even jump. Her legs didn't have that jump ability in them yet. They was just, you know, just them fucking little pushers. She would just kind of push herself and then just fall. And she'd fall right off the tailgate into whoever's yard it was, some rich person's yard. And then it was just every step you could get through the dark grass to get up to that front door. And you would just ring that damn bell. You would knock. Dude, I would ring and then knock. And if they weren't there within half of a second, I would ring again. Trick or treat. And you would fight over who got to say trick or treat. Remember that? Rolling up close to the door, you'd have a 6-minute fist fight over who gets to say trick or treat. And then you get there and then they open it up. And sometimes inside you see people having fun. Families, you know. Maybe they're watching TV or tickling each other. Maybe the dad, if he's rich, he might be throwing a piece of popcorn up in the air, catching it in his mouth, you know. Maybe the kid, you see, he got a nice pair of, extra shoes or cleats by the door, whatever. They got calendars, you know, legitimate calendars from from the actual year it was on the wall. And the mom is right there, and she got the big bowl, and she's dressed up like a little cat, or like a female lemur or something kind of sexy, you know, like a little deer. And she got that bowl, and man, you hope that Snicker was in there. God, I loved Halloween. And then it was on to the next one. And you make the street, and then there weren't as many, you didn't see as many porch lights on. You'd be like, all right, let's get back on the car. Let's get back on Mom's tailgate. Go, Mom. And Mom's complaining, is everybody, who gives a go? Go. You're back there yelling, bro, half your candy. You don't even know. You getting your brother to look at something, stealing half of his shit. You got all the candy bags tied around your sister's neck. At this point, she's just a sugar mule. She's just muling sweets around. She's 2 years old, building up thighs. By the end of Halloween night, by November 1st, she got thighs look like a damn quarter horse. Look like a pony that was raised in quicksand and is still alive. She got them big, strong thighs. And she just got 9 bags of candy tied around her. And she just muling sugar, and you guys back on the tailgate again, and you're going, and you see another person's yard, and we'd run, and we'd jump off. And I never forget what happened, man. Little Thaniel jumped off, and some people, every now and then, some real fuckaroo has to have a hydrant in the front of their yard. And you know what's great about them? They don't put lights around the hydrant. They don't put any. It's just a hydrant in the front of their yard. And this person had painted their hydrant brown so it would match their house. What a real Albert Fuckstein. So we all running off. We jump into the yard. 1, 2, 3, just parachuting off the back of Mom's tailgate. And little Daniel. Little Thaniel, that little goat boy, he's all shook up. He's hopped up. He's had maybe about fucking 65 rolls of Smarties. And 15 of those, unidentifiable brown and black candies. He got so much. And those things, you couldn't even get them. It would just get stuck in your teeth. Remember that? Remember those? That's all they were. Those things, the orange and black ones, they just get, all it was something that kind of tasted like coffee and would get stuck in your teeth. Come on. But little Daniel, bro, he'd run and jumped off. And in the dark, you thought it was yard because we'd all hit yard. And Daniel fucking just landed right into that, the fire hydrant. Just imagine flying through the air. Halloween on your brain. 65 rolls of Smarties in your system hopped up. Won't be able to close your eyes for a month. You got so much glucose rolling through you. You got real honey-hooked goat hair on your back. Your daddy made you fucking wooden hooves. You got pine hooves nailed into the bottom of your Reeboks. And you got on a diaper full of urine and possibly number 2. Depends on how fired up you were. And you got a fucking damn goat mask on your face. And out of nowhere, just BAM! Out of the pitch black, a fire hydrant. You jump off of a tailgate into pure darkness. And you hit a fire hydrant. And that boy was never the same. Never the same. So, but that's Halloween, man. God, I love it. And I miss it. And I'm happy to be here, man. Crazy. But different back in the day. People, you could dress up as an apple. You know, an Indian. They had a black kid came to our door as an indentured servant. Like, whatever. People didn't care. People wasn't like, oh, this means this. This means whatever. This is a kid. They want to dress up. Let them dress up. People know I've been Peppermint Pat before. And I'll get a cotton, some cotton body cover and stuff and, shirts and that and pants. And I'll put little peppermints all over them. And people are like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Peppermint Pat. And they're like, who is that? And I'm like, who? It's no one. It's Peppermint Pat. You know what I'm saying? I'm that breath, I'm that sugary little freshener. I'm that sugary freshener. I'll put, my finger, I'll put I'll brush my hands along your cheeks and make your breath smell nice. Peppermint Pat. Not a real person, but in my mind it was real. Remember, Halloween was also a chance. I remember it was a chance to go door to door in your neighborhood and see what the fuck was going on. Remember that? You get to some people's house, you're like, damn, they don't have any furniture? I remember we opened one person opened their door. It was just a garage. Their whole house was just a garage. Like, what are y'all sleeping in that Ford Explorer? The hell is going on? But you kind of got to see what was going on in different people's lives, man. It was interesting. It was really, really interesting. But happy early Halloween. I'm excited. I get excited for the holidays, and I get excited. I love the holidays. I love things that bring people together. And I think that the holidays is one of those things. And I think we all need it. I think we all need it. Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could. Watch this one. Or watch this one. Watch this one. Watch this one. Watch this one. Ah!